Hey Aditya, Apur, and Yogesh, welcome. This is Ravikant here.
Hey Ravi.
Hey, let's wait for 2-3 minutes for others to join, guys.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi Ravi, can you hear me? Hello.
Okay, guys, just checking whether we're able to hear each other. Aditya, you able to hear us?
Yes.
Apur Jain,
Yes.
Apur, you able to hear us?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. Yogesh, there looks like a problem. Yogesh, I can't see the mic button next to your name. I don't know how you are joining. Can you come over the private chat? I was just pinging you.
No, 1, 2, 3.
Kishore, I'm making you the host.
Yeah, thanks Ravi. So can you guys hear me?
Yes, Ravi. It's audible.
Okay, this is Kishore.
Hey, hi Kishore. Sorry. Hi Kishore.
Yeah,
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Yeah, fine, Kishore. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So I think my mic is working, so I'll keep quiet for some time now.
Okay, sure.
Welcome, Ayush. Ayush, you able to hear? Okay, can you speak up, Ayush? Just want to check the speaker settings. You'll have to unmute yourself. Okay. Just try to rejoin, Ayush. Exit and rejoin.
Hello. Hi, sir. So, can you hear me?
Ayush, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sir.
Great. Just wait for 2 more minutes and
Yes.
we will start
Yeah,
up.
sure, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you. Yogesh, can you just speak up? We'll just test your mic. Yeah.
Yes, sir, I'm able to say hear you.
A bit more louder, Yogesh.
Yes, sir, I'm able to hear you.
Great. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Harshal, are you able to hear us? We're not able to hear you. I can't see the speaker button next to your name, Harshal. Maybe can you exit and rejoin? Test your speakers, please. You can see Ashish Deshmukh joining. Ashish, are you able to hear us? Maybe take out the video, Ashish and Harshal. I think that'll help. Yeah, Ashish, can you speak up?
Yeah,
Great.
I'm here.
Hi, Ashish.
Hi.
Great. Harshal, just waiting for you, then we can start off. Okay, I think it's 10 minutes. Kishore, can I request you to start off, please?
Sure, Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kishore. Hope you guys are doing good. Good afternoon. Pretty peaceful day. I think first, some of the requirements which I have from you guys is that please can you all mute your mics if you are not asking any questions. Keep your phones away for some time. I think you'll have the rest of your day to look at the phones. And then if you have any questions, write them down. We'll probably have a Q&A session on the topics, and then I'll stop and come back and ask your questions. Right? For some reason, if you're not able to do that, you can post your questions on the chat, and Ravi will help us get those questions up to me, and then we can answer those questions. Okay. So how this session is going to turn around is like I'll do a intro. Since apart from Aditya, I think I've not seen anybody else join these last week. So for everybody's benefit, I'll probably walk everybody through kind of a demo, or what we're gonna be doing for the next 90 minutes. So Ashish, if you can mute your mic, or if you have any questions, please ask, or else if you can mute it, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Okay, Ashish, I've muted you. You can unmute it if you have a question. So
Kishore, can you share your screen?
yeah, I am doing it right now.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, and then let me know when you see my screen.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. So for everybody else's benefit, like as I said, we'll walk through. So what this session is all about, or what this 8 to 9 or 10 weeks, what we will be trying to do, or what you guys will be gaining out of this discussion and sessions would be trying to understand, get your heads around understanding what cybersecurity, what's different components of cybersecurity, why do you think you can choose this as a career, and how fruitful that can be if you are able to excel in this career, right? So the first things which we'll be talking about is nothing but what is cybersecurity. Um, Everybody knows, probably if people have experience or have knowledge about it, that's well and good. For people who don't, so cybersecurity is basically nothing but it's providing protection to your systems, network, program data, and your money, right? Because in today's environment, in 2020 or 2019 year, your data is your asset, right? The moment you lose it, you lose your money, right? It can be your digital wallet credentials. If the moment you lose it, your money is like gone, right? We are seeing Google Pay hacks, people sending you fake web pages and asking you to do a Google payment from there. The moment you put it, people are trying to take over your transaction and dump everything in their accounts. So that means the shift from protecting your assets, your computers, your money in your lockers is no more valid. Probably has of little value, but now everything digital is of more importance for an attacker or for an adversary. That means if your money is more important for you, similarly a company, its servers, proprietary information, its secret formulas, secret applications, everything what it's trying to develop, it's important for it. So your systems, your networks, your program, your data, what the company generates every day is more important for them. And that's how cybersecurity comes into existence, that there is a requirement for somebody to come, sit, look at this every day in, day out, and then start letting them know when something goes wrong and then try to protect them. It's not easy because attacker need to get it right just once, but for a defender, we need to get it right every time. And it's like, imagine yourself playing a cop, right? You are standing in a park. You got 10,000 people around you, or say suppose 500 people around you. Everybody is a suspect for you, from a little kid all the way to an old fellow. You cannot trust anyone. You never know. A kid can be a dangerous fellow who's just planting a bomb or just trying to pick pockets. Old fellow can be the same thing. So you cannot give until unless you have verified that that person or that entity is clear, is not a malicious person. You cannot give a clean check. Similarly, in your environment, you have to know what is wrong and what is normal, and then get right about your security every time. And that's what the importance is all about, right? So you say that the moment somebody withdraws a amount from your bank without you intentionally giving it to him, you raise a complaint. So there is a back-end team which is actively looking at that. If you suddenly withdraw, say suppose 1 lakh rupees from your account, immediately you get a call from your bank saying that, hey, you know what, you have withdrawn 1 lakh rupees. Did you do it? So it means they are actively looking at what you're doing. Your banks are actively looking at what you're doing. How do they know 1 lakh is an abnormal amount? Because your traditional transactions can be around 10,000 or 20,000. So this is a primary example that there are algorithms, there are people sitting behind, there is some kind of teams, there is some kind of alerting mechanism sitting is there everywhere for you to know that something is going wrong. Your Google, if you access Google from your new account or new phone, you get a prompt. Hey, you know what? Somebody accessed your Google account from a new device. Are you sure that's you? See, everywhere security lies. It's not just about the company, but you yourself have to protect your data, and you cannot blame anyone, right? So moving on, why do you think cybersecurity is important? There is a serious skill gap. I've been in this industry for last 15 years. I've been managing teams for last 10 years, I think. And then most of the time, if you are looking out to find a decent cybersecurity knowledgeable guy, it's difficult because half of them don't have it. Half of them are doing just for the sake of doing it. And I don't have anybody like college graduates like you guys taking up these courses. So it means people who are available are taking the advantage of this gap, are trying to learn more, or are grabbing jobs with higher salaries. But still, the skill gap is there. You might ask, there is AI, there is machine learning, all type of new technology is there. Why is that not reducing the skill gap? AI and ML can only do so far, right? When you say artificial intelligence or machine learning is something called as learning. So you have to feed data to tell him what's right, what's wrong. But all the while, do you think companies will spend that much enormous amounts of money to buy an AI and ML based solution? I don't think so. Let's take an example of economies of scale. How many big, Forbes 500 companies you have, right? Not more than say 1 lakh companies. So do you think the 1 lakh companies are running the entire global economy? No, there are, I think, rest of the 80 or 90%, 70% of the economy is run by something called as small and medium scale enterprises, which cannot afford to spend that much amount of money on these type of bigger technologies. And that's the reason they try to hire private companies to look at their security. And these companies are paying very minimal amounts to get their security checkboxes saying that, yes, I have a security team looking at my logs, and that's what they are doing. Your Cognizants, your Wipros, your how do you call Infosys, Tech Mahindra, all these companies are running huge MSSPs, anywhere from 200 to 300 people SOC, and catering to around 30 to 40 customers. But still, that's not sufficient. Everybody in the team is doing at least 10 to 12 hours of job every day without even knowing them. So that's the reason the skill gap is enormous. We need people like you guys who are interested in cybersecurity to come and join the workforce, and then be the part of ever-growing, requirement for skilled resources. So what do you need to learn even to get into cybersecurity? It's not a rocket science. It's not difficult. It's not something that you can say that, oh, I don't know what cybersecurity is. I don't know what network is. It's all, if you think that it's your college curriculum, it'll be pretty easy. So you live your life like a college graduate or a college student for the next, say, suppose 2 or 3 months, then probably you'll understand how easy is that. So the first things which you need to know in terms of getting into cybersecurity would be strong understanding of what a network is all about, right? Your networking knowledge is important. You need to know what is a switch, what is a router, what is a server, what is a client, how does both them connected, what is optic fiber cable, what is an OSI layer, everything in that. So once you understand that, that gives you a perspective about how a bad guy or an adversary or an attacker can come in and use that infrastructure to his advantage, and what's wrong. I mean, like, take the weakness out of it and then say that, I can go and attack this, right? So it's important for us as security professionals to understand how the network is set up. Then the concept of basic concept of CIA comes in: confidentiality, integrity, availability. This is the very phenomenal, the ground rules of information security. It means you have to have your information in confidentiality. Whenever you send an email to somebody else, should be confidential. Nobody else apart from the intended recipient should get the email. Integrity is that if you are sending him 100 rupees cash, it should not, the end person should not get like 90 rupees or 99.1 rupees. It should get 100%, right? So it means the integrity of whatever you're sending across to the other person has to be 100%, right? It should not be tampered with by anybody in the middle. And then the availability. Availability is nothing but like example of your Gmail server. You expect your Gmail servers to be up and running 24/7, 365 days with 99.99999, any number of 9 as availability. You get up in the night, you check your email. You get up at 3 o'clock, you check your email. You get up at 4 o'clock, you check your email. The email is down. You get frustrated. You will not be able to sleep. It means unknowingly that downtime has actually hampered you, right? You're talking to your girlfriend on WhatsApp video call. The video call doesn't work. You get frustrated. You look for other opportunities. It means the availability has actually caused WhatsApp is business, right? So it means if availability is of utmost importance for a company, along with confidentiality and integrity, because the moment your services are not available, your customers will get frustrated. They'll move on to other alternative or competitive products. That's dangerous for you, right? So that's important for you, even for an information security standpoint, that, if availability is not there, it can be based off an attack as well, right? So that CIA triad is something which is important for everyone. And then you should understand what is it. Don't die-hard it. Understand the logic behind why do you use confidentiality, integrity, and availability as a triad for your cybersecurity. Moving on, you will hear a lot of terminology called hacking, ethical hacking, white hat, gray hat. It's all a fine line between a hacker, ethical hacker, right? Ethical hacker is a good guy, hacker, cracker, bad guy. ethical hacker can become a bad guy the moment he gets valid information. Suppose you are an ethical hacker in an organization, like part of a red team, which is what we call as an attackers, who are intentionally being hired to attack our organizations ever so often to understand how solid our organization security is. So these ethical hackers will try to attack. If these guys try to use the findings against the company for their personal benefit, they become hackers or insider threats. So there's a very fine line between ethical hacker and or called something called hacker or hacking. So some of the terminologies you will come across more often in cybersecurity is your threat, your vulnerability, your risk. So in a nutshell, vulnerability can be a weakness in your application or in a web browser or any other application for that matter. Okay. The threat is a adversary or an attacker taking advantage of that weakness, right? So suppose I have a weakness. Let's a very basic example. I Kishore have a weakness for ice creams. Somebody comes and says that he wants to exploit my weakness, right? And I am a security guard at some XYZ big company, and he wants to get in. What does he do? He recons me, he understands my background, he comes back and say, hey, Kishore, I got something for you. This is a free gift for you, an ice cream for you because of all your help which you have done in this company. I am from HR. I will not know who the HR is. If I don't know, he'll exploit that. So my weakness is saying that ice cream. I said I'll take this couple of ice creams and say that, you know what, I forgot something in the office. Do you think you can allow me? I said, since he offered me an ice cream and I'm weak and I'm more eager to eat the ice cream, I said, okay, go. So it means he has actually exploited my weakness to take advantage of it and then breach the physical security, breach the organization in terms of get into the organization. Then what happens? What he does, he is trying to take advantage of the assets, right? Your servers, your personal desktops, or anything which you can take advantage or take away with him. In this example, is what is a loss for you. The risk in all these things together is the financial loss a company will have to occur when this weakness is taken advantage of, and then the asset is lost, right? So it means risk is nothing but the amount of money you will have to repay or pay towards regaining or restoring your services. So suppose if the attacker, actually the guy who actually penetrated the office by giving me the ice cream or taking advantage of my weakness, he picks up a critical server. He just takes a server, pulls the hard drive, puts it in pocket and walks away. And it has got almost all the information for or about all my customers which the company is providing. And if I have a backup, well and good, but if I need to restore, how much of a money I need to pay is what the risk factor is. Say suppose I don't have a backup and I need to completely rebuild the data, it means I need to shut my shop down because I don't have a backup for that. It means that's the difference between a company paying for an attacker or paying for the risk or vulnerability or of a threat actor being trying to take advantage of that risk or vulnerability, and then we repaying for that is what the security is all about. So if say suppose this company was intelligent enough to have a security guard like me, but also thought that since Kishore is weak, he cannot stop all the attacks, they put a biometric control or an access control in the gate. So even though attacker was able to get to the main door, he was not able to get to the first gate or even enter the building because he did not have the access controls or the swipe cards. So it means the company was intelligent enough to identify the assets or put redundant controls where attacker was stopped even before getting in, right? That's something called as layered security. You put layer after layer after layer after security so that attacker, even they breach the first layer, they have another layer to breach, right? So these are all some of the very basic security terminologies which you'll come across. Moving on, as I said, the ethical hacker and a hacker are somebody doing legally, somebody doing legally, and then somebody trying to break in. Just a second, guys. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I was saying that ethical hackers and hackers. So these guys, as I said, there's a very fine line between a hacker and ethical hacker. Ethical hacker is more towards saying that I am genuinely trying to find out loopholes in your in your security. Uh, yeah. Okay. So that's the fine line between a hacker and an ethical hacker. That the ethical hacker will actually find the vulnerability and disclose it to the company, while a hacker would not. So if you have actually heard about the FBI, they have a list of tools which they used it against the applications like Windows operating system and other operating systems, where they hid it intentionally from the Microsoft guys. But when it came out, it was a big ruckus. That they have to explicitly disclose all the vulnerabilities they find out in an application, so that the end users are protected against this ones, the basic attacks. So the ethical hackers his job is to find out what these loopholes are, and then let the company know so that they can better protect it. But hacker will not do that. Hacker will use it to blackmail you and to take advantage and to extract money out of the company, right? Um, Moving on. So what's the attacker's mindset to begin an attack, or why do you think he's basically attacking everyone, or what's the gain out of it? So attackers, the first thing he has a motive that he wants to break into HDFC Bank, and then steal XYZ amount, for his own purpose. So that's his motive. What does it do? He tries to find out. He tries to walk into the bank. He tries to find out who the employees are, how they do the transaction, what type of applications do they use, whether it's available on the internet. He'll probably make good friends with one of the bank employees. And then if somebody like me who's working there, probably take advantage of my weaknesses. He'll try to get to know how the bank really works, what are the backend systems, the IP ranges, the employee access cards, where the money is lying, how the money is transferred from one location to the other location. He'll try to find out everything, how the operation happens in a bank. Then he'll try to find out a weakness, right? Try to find out a weakness where, by taking that advantage of the weakness, he'll get the maximum advantage, and he'll be able to achieve his target of either breaking into or getting access to the server, which actually does the money transaction, and then he transferring money to his own account. So motive, method plus vulnerability is what the attacker will look for when trying to break or plan his attack forward, right? So attackers are very methodical. They are very planned. They test their own systems or their own processes well before even they start doing it, right? So I think I gave them an example. I think last time when I gave them an example, there is something called as a Operation Glowing Symphony, which was done by FBI. Okay. Okay. Hold on. So yeah. Uh, so that's how he does it. So the Operation Glowing Symphony was more about um, the attackers or the FBI guys actually tracking the ISIS movements even before they were famous or they started taking over the countries like Iran, Iraq, or Syria, whatever that is. So it means they were trying to track all the bad guys, and once the ISIS guys started propaganding or sending propaganda on the internet, and then trying to spread the videos about people getting beheaded and all these things, they started taking out that infrastructure, right? But they were tracking these guys well before even they were famous. They were sitting back and trying to understand what these guys were doing, how they were trying to hide their existence, and then trying to send their messages or post their messages on different chat boards or in different forums where people get influenced and then they join the ISIS group. Right? See, so yeah. So the most common operating system for us for attackers to use is Kali Linux. So we will do a demo. We will try to run with applications. We'll try to see what can be done. Install Kali Linux on your machines. We'll not do a full hands-on, but we'll try to see what tools are available. How can you use it? And then on some public websites, or you can install 2 VMs on your machine. Have a Windows 7. I'll try to guide you to install a Windows VM and then try to see how you can connect to each other on 2 VMs. Have a Kali and then have a Windows machine and then try to see if you can scan each other on your environment. So some of the attacks which you will commonly hear about is virus, worms, malware, ransomware, salami, DDoS, phishing. So these are very common base attacks which you'll hear. Virus, you all know it's a computer virus. It comes in and does nefarious things without you knowing. It starts moving the mouse or slows down. The recent most one is the crypto miner, which basically is nothing but it uses your CPU's processing power to mine cryptocurrency. It's not just your machine, probably hundreds and thousands of machines. Hundreds and thousands of machines on the internet, which will be used as a crypto miners, which will be. It's not attacking basically. These crypto miners is nothing but they are just trying to use your CPU's bandwidth to do some transactions which you don't want to do it. So basically, you will not be able to use any other application apart from your browser until unless you don't kill that particular browser or kill that application. Yes, Harshal, you have raised your hand. Anything you want to know, Harshal? I don't think so. I'm unable to mute you. But if you have anything, can you post it on the chat? Okay. If you don't have any questions, I think we'll move on. So as I said, yeah, the crypto miners, the ransomware is the most common one. The attacker sends you, tries to encrypt or encrypt all the files on your machine and ask you for a ransom, like pay this amount or pay these bitcoins. I'll be sending you an unlocking key, and then you can basically unlock all your files. But that doesn't work out. So okay, yeah, Ashish, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, sir, what is phishing?
Phishing is a way for me to lure you or sending you an email which looks like as if somebody close to you have sent or somebody you already know, like a bank or a person. So this guy will fish you in opening that email and opening that link or an attachment. So the email will come from ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank if you have an account in that, or somebody from say suppose you're like Ravi sending you an email. Looks like Ravi sending you an email, but he's not really sending you an email actually, but it's somebody else. So those emails comes to you and you look at the sender. It says, oh, it's Ravi or it's Kishore. I know these guys. Let me open that. Again, they said new course material or something like that, and then you'll probably open the link, and the link is not something which you'll expect. Like it looks like a Gmail link, or say that oh, this is a website link which you need to access your training material. You'll provide your credentials. So what I would say that the link looks like a Gmail or something like that, where you need to provide your Gmail credentials. Since you are trusting us, you'll provide the Gmail credentials. The moment you do it, the credentials are sent to the attacker, and you get redirected to the Gmail site, the original Gmail site. And That's it. Boom, you're done. Your credentials are basically taken away, and then and the attacker just on behalf of you and do whatever he wants. Right?
Means attack through email.
Yeah. So the actually the phishing is nothing but a phishing email, right? It
Yeah.
can be in the physical phishing as well. Like, he'll come and say that, hey, Ashish, I've come from Sai Acuity Institute, or I'm coming from HDFC
Yeah.
Bank. We have said that your
Yeah.
your account is now for XYZ. So you'll trust them, and they'll show you the all valid proofs about he being as part of that organization or set. So phishing, in the terminology itself, is trying to lure you in terms of doing something which you don't want to do it, or you don't want to reveal.
And cyber spoofing.
Sorry?
Hello.
Yeah.
Spoofing.
Cyber spoofing is, see, that you need to understand what is spoofing in the first place. Spoofing is nothing but I am trying to imitate you. Like, I can call somebody and say, hey, this is Ashish Deshmukh speaking. Do you think he'll know who is Ashish Deshmukh, how he looks like? If he doesn't, then I'll take advantage. If he knows, then I'm caught. Right? So that's where the spoofing concept comes in. In a cyber spoofing, I'm trying to imitate you as imitate somebody else, right? It can be IP address, it can be an email address, it can be person itself. I can take your Aadhaar card and put my own, right? Who, if I give it to a shopkeeper, do you think he will know the difference between that Aadhaar card, specifically spoofed and manipulated? Do you think he'll know? He will never know about it. So I am trying to spoof your identity, or spoof your email address, or spoof your IP address, and trying to do something else. When that happens, the recipient will see that, okay, it's coming from somebody I know, which is not.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's move on. So this is the link, or this type of Facebook page is a phishing page. If you see the actual URL there, it's something like facebook.some.cixx.6.com. But it's easy for attackers to download an entire website and then recreate it or rehost it on your own IP address or your own domain with your bot in GoDaddy, Google, or anywhere else. It's easy. You can actually host any website by dumping that website into some place and then do it. So this looks like a Facebook page, but it's not a Facebook page. Right? Look at the intelligence of that guy who says face look, not Facebook. If that CIXXX or whatever.com is not there, you actually believe it's Facebook, not Facebook. Because half of us say that, he'll hardly look at the URL when you are trying to open or clicking on a link. Right? So, yeah, it looks like a Facebook URL, or it looks like the page looks like Facebook, but it's not. What happens? As I said, you provide the credentials, it goes to the attacker. There, he will redirect you to saying, oh, wrong page, or bad credentials. He redirect you to the original Facebook page, and you're successful again. You think that you have typed the wrong credentials, but that's not it. So guys, for whoever is on the call, as a security measure, whenever you are receiving an email or any links with email, try not to open the link directly, but try to hover your mouse around the link, on the link, and then see what URL you are able to see there. So Ayush, you asked for Burp Suit. Burp Suit is a completely different tool which you can use to intercept some traffic going between you and the website. Right? That's a different tool. Yeah, yes, you can use it to spoof, or you can use it to tamper the data with what's going to your website. But again, that tool is used for whole different purposes. Right? So did that answer your question, Ayush? Okay, thank you. Moving on. So as I said, the hackers are of varieties: white hat hackers, gray hat hackers, black hat hackers. Black hat hackers are completely, they are for nefarious purpose. Gray hat are between a white and black hat. based on the situation, they can turn either white or black, or use their skills for malicious purposes. Um, uh, and and then try to take advantage. But white hat hackers are purely the bug bounties, or the bug hunters which are out there on the internet, which are trying to find bugs in the website and then try to report back to the organization to claim a bug bounty. These are all white hat hackers which will do it for the sake of good of the community. They're not the bad guys, but they will reveal how they did it and then try to tell the company how to protect it as well. These are called the white hat hackers. So this is a definition of what a white hat and gray hat is. So the whole of information security regime is nothing but we'll start off with the user education. So it means my company users need to be aware of what's good, what's bad, how do how bad things look like, how a bad email looks like, what a phishing email looks like. If they are not aware of that, that's something risky. And if they find a phishing email, uh, how do they want to report it to the concerned team? What is the basic information they should do it, or the basic steps they should do it, to protect themselves and their um, friends and then colleagues. That's something which we have to take care of, or the company will take care. So home and mobile working. So when they are working from home, what type of security needs to be provided? What type of controls needs to be in place? So suppose if some of you are working and then you get a VPN access to work from home, you cannot directly connect to the company resources, right? You need to have a VPN access where you log in with your credentials, and then you will try to access company resources through the channel where nobody can trap or intercept the data what you're sending back in between your company. Secure configuration, so any routers, switches, your servers, operating systems, your applications, everything needs to be securely configured. You cannot have default configurations. So as I'll tell you an example, there, if you all know T-Series YouTube channel, right? So T-Series and a guy in US, I think called PewDiePie, were having neck-to-neck competition of most subscribers on YouTube. So the PewDiePie actually took advantage of a hacker friend who was a PewDiePie supporter. So what they did was they went out and found out printers connected to internet. They scanned the entire internet, found out that on which port the printers are connected, and they started writing a script where your communication will go onto all these ports and then send a test print. And you know what the print was? The print was, your printer is open to internet. Please go and subscribe to PewDiePie on YouTube. That print was sent to more than 1 lakh users across the globe. Imagine 1 lakh people getting prints, anonymous prints from the internet, telling them to go and support PewDiePie, because all of these were default configured. They did not take the precaution to stop or have their printers not to appear on the internet. If they would have taken that precaution, they would not have appeared and they would not have got breach or got default prints or prints from anybody else, right? So that's just one example. Probably there are other examples people have used to, so I want to take an example, say that I hate Kishore, or I want to kind of do something to this guy because I don't like this guy. Because he did not give me the ice cream the other day when the bad guy gave it. So what I do is I find his printer is attached to the internet. I gave him 1 lakh prints. His peak will get over in a matter of minutes. It's not a big thing, but it's something which I took advantage of his default configuration, right? Similarly, removable media. If you all don't know, Israel and US together planned a cyber attack on Iran nuclear power plant, which is and they created a virus called Stuxnet. It took them at least 2 or 3 years before they were able to really hone their skills on building this malware, because this malware was trying to attempt to compromise SCADA, which is industrial controls. Okay, I've got 2 hands raised. So I've got Zakaria and then Ashish. Yeah, go ahead and ask your questions, Ashish. So Ayush says Stuxnet. So yeah, so yeah, exactly. It destroyed nuclear 80% of. But how they did it is because they tried to identify who the nuclear professor or the guy who actually works in the nuclear plant who has access to the admin console or to the system which controls the actual fuel rods or the controls. They gave him a pen drive, swapped the pen drive, which looks like his pen drive. He went and connected that pen drive to that system, which is not connected to the internet. They compromised it, and the whole nuclear program for Iran got destroyed. So what they did, it said, it override the controls and saying that the actual motors in the nuclear enrichment plants are spinning at 8,000 RPM or XYZ RPM for 3 minutes and then they'll stop. But the system was showing that it stopped, but in the back end, these spindles or these enrichments were going on non-stop, and that caused a meltdown for them. And they caused them to shut down the entire operations, and it kind of put a hold for the nuclear program for next 2 to 3 years, I think, but they still restarted the program. Zakaria, do you still have a question? You can post it on the chat group. Yeah. So, Harshal, security and cybersecurity, as I said, the first slide, cybersecurity is nothing but protecting your own organization. So, security can come in physical security, perimeter security, but cyber, anything virtual, you have to start protecting it. Make sense? Or yeah, you said information security. My bad, I did not read the information security. So information security is nothing but trying to, this particular protection, what I'm trying to show here is the information protection, information security as per se, right, Harshal? You can see the screen. It's trying information security is nothing but trying to dictate standards, procedures, policies about how everything needs to be tied down, restricted. But when you say cybersecurity, it's actually dealing with an incident or actually dealing with a breach and trying to restore the services back to normalcy. Like if a malware attack happens, our cybersecurity team will be the first one to look at these attacks, and cybersecurity is the first line of defense for any organization. Information security on a very high level will tell what type of policies, what type of tools, what type of guidelines, what type of standards the entire organization should follow to adhere to an information security regime. Like, they should have all these bullet points in place to secure their organization. But cybersecurity is actively looking at and trying to protect any attacks from happening. Right? And when it happens, they'll try to do it. Make sense, Harshal? Perfect. Thank you. Ayush, you are saying that cyber forensics. Cyber forensics is a different term. Probably, I think I'll talk to you about once I probably wrap up this slides. I'll come back to your question, Ayush. So let's move on. Companies with data breaches. You have got companies with data breaches like Yahoo, Equifax, Target, Sony PlayStation, and Anthem. This is what I want you to do, guys. Can you guys open your browser? Can you see my screen? Say yes in the chat if you can. Okay, perfect. So let's go to information is beautiful. You can go to this site which is called information is beautiful. You can see all the biggest breaches happened till now. So this will load a bubble graph like this one. Okay. Yeah. You see this now? So these are all the breaches which has happened, in 2019. I think the site did not upload after the 1st of April. But yes, you see all these breaches happened. Facebook with 42 million users. Dubsmash with 162 million users, or whatever that number is. Indian Job Seeker, we have got 1,000, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 crore. 27 crore accounts getting, breached. So similarly, you have got all these breaches. You can go read about them. but yes, these have got breached, right? So yeah, you can find the site. Information is beautiful. Go there. You can see all the breaches which you can read about. Take one at a time and then read about it. So we just picked up a couple of them here. That's what it's written here. Moving on, cybersecurity operations. Yes, we do protect, detect, and respond. Our cybersecurity ops or SOC or what is called or psychops or frontline defense guys or cyber defense operations center, any name you call, these are the frontline operations guys. Most of the companies will not have this type of infrastructure. Yes, you'll have multiple monitors there, and then you'll be looking at multiple consoles, multiple alerts to see what's going on. So what a function of SOC does, right? SOC basically collects all the logs coming into an enterprise. It can be from a router or switch, your web proxy, your email, your web servers, your firewalls, your web applications, your antivirus systems, anything else which your company is interested in. It will collect all the logs. We'll log everything in a system called SIEM, Security Incident and Event Management Solution. We'll feed all the logs in that. We'll ingest that everything in that, and then with this system will try to correlate or validate all the logs. Then we as an analyst will try to validate these logs and say that, okay, I see an activity. What am I supposed to do? Oh, this is something related to an attack, or like, oh, I see this is a brute force happening, or there's a phishing email which is coming in. I need to do something. I'll take action. I'll try to report, and then report this to the concerned teams, or report this to the concerned higher authorities. The other teams will try to respond that, or it's my own team which will respond that, and then we will try to go clean up our infected machine, infected a compromised server, give remediation steps, and then make sure that we put controls in there, and we finally document everything, right? So when we document everything, it will come back as a loop as to what caused us to miss that particular incident, and then how do I try to protect my own organization from the next time onwards. That's something which SOC does day in, day out, repeatedly. So branches of cybersecurity, for Harshal, your question, what does we go in cybersecurity? So we have got network security, we have got endpoint, we have got application, cloud, IoT, and digital forensics. So these are all different branches where either you can, be a master of everything here, or you can be master of some of them, or you can master of one of the activities. Usually, network teams are more part of network security, or a NOC team, which is Network Operations Center. They are good at network operations. Endpoint security, SOC. Application security, again SOC, which looks at IDS, IPS alerts. Cloud security, again SOC. SOC will look at these systems as well. IoT security is something which is now starting up. We need to understand how many companies are integrating IoT in their own organizations. Let's take an example. So we had a company when I earlier worked, so they are related to, they'll take care of parking lots in US, correct? So they buy spaces and they make parking lots. These parking lots are paid, and they have, for every parking slot, they have a RFID or a tag, right, which is connected to a IoT, which is internet, so small device which actually identifies somebody parks a car. It senses it. So those type of companies will actually want to understand if there is a malfunction in some of these internet connected devices. Say suppose, if somebody parks their car and my IoT device says that the slot is free, right? What happens? For me, it shows that it's free, but I have already parked my car. Now, how do I do it? And that's how we'll fix it if somebody has actually attacked that. IoT, there was this something called a Miraya bot, which I don't know how many of you are aware of. I think a couple of years back, the Miraya bot made a sensation, because Miraya bot is nothing but IoT is nothing but your smart bulb, your smart TV, your smart AC, your smart fan, your smart fridge, everything which is called a smart has IoT built in. It means it has got an Android system or a Windows or a Linux system, compressed core OS built into this system. So what happens? This Miraya bot took advantage of the default configuration or default login ID passwords for all these things. So how did it do it? It used a site called shodan.io. I'll show you guys what is that site. It basically scanned all these devices and it popped up and said that, these guys bought particular set of devices and they cracked it and figured out, okay, they use this login ID password. They scanned for all these type of devices connected to the internet. They started logging in them with these using default credentials. They were successful. They wrote a script and they started, attacking every IoT device across the world, which they were able to scan and connect to, and then converted them into attackers or zombies, which the attackers control, and did a DDoS or some other applications, right? They DOSed an application or basically attacked other third-party companies where the end guys will never be able to figure out who the actual attacker was, because all these attacks are coming from these IoT devices which are across the world, which is controlled by one single guy, right? So that's how the IoT is more secure. Even if you have your IoTs, you'll have to secure it. So yes, Harshal, they all come as part of cybersecurity. So the thing is, for you, so Harshal asked the question, the routing information like RIP, EIGRP, or OSPF, these are all protocols for your routers and switches, which is used to route data, are also vulnerable. Yes, any protocol, any port which is default configured, which is not tied down, is vulnerable, can be used to attack. Correct. So yeah, I'll probably talk more about that probably sometime in the next couple of in next 30 minutes or so. But yeah, those can be used to attack. And digital forensic. Digital forensic is nothing but you guys are taking forensic copy or digital copy of your hard drive and trying to understand how the attack came in, where the attacker was there, did he was actually in the RAM, scrape up the RAM and see how much artifact can I see as part of the RAM forensics and everything else. Then we'll talk about what are the different roles and responsibilities of cybersecurity. So in a typical organization, you'll have an incident responder, malware analysis, forensic expert, as a security analyst as part of one SOC team. Red team and blue team, yes, it can be a broader red teaming exercise. The SOC and the red team will work together. Red team will attack, blue team will try to defend. Blue team is nothing but a SOC team. Red teaming is nothing but an attackers team, which we have hired, as I said, intentionally within our own organization to see what they can attack and how blue team can defend against the attack. So this is a kind of a gameplay they do it internally so that they know how strong is the blue team and what they need to do, what the blue team needs to do in terms of protecting themselves or how they should be strong enough in terms of identifying alerts. The vulnerability assessment and pen testing is a whole different team, which will not be part of SOC team more or less, but they'll be different team. They'll be trying to assess your vulnerability by scanning using Qualys, Nessus, or some of the other tools, and then trying to find out what are the weaknesses in your own organization, in applications, hardware, and everything else, and then try to patch those. And then pen testing team will, after the patch is done, they'll try to break in and see whether they were able to penetrate it from the outside of the organization or the inside of the organization, just to understand how the patching of the application and servers work well, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it for the first topic. I will open up for questions. Let me see if I can. I have unmuted you, everyone. You guys can mute and then. Harshal, Aditya, Pratap, Yogesh, any questions from your end? See, guys, I'll tell you what. Don't worry about if the question is silly or not. We are here to learn. Let's learn. So yeah, Zakari, you can on the chat.
Hi, this is Yogesh.
Hi.
Hi. Sir, do you teach with a basic knowledge also?
Sorry?
I don't have basic knowledge on cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's what we are here for. I'll try to help you out to understand.
Okay. Do you have any placement assistance, sir?
Sorry?
Placement assistance.
Placements, yeah. not guarantee, but we'll try to see. I contact.
No, sir, there's a disturbance. I can't hear you. Hello?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, sir. There's a disturbance.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah. So placements we can try, but it will not be we cannot probably guarantee anything that placements guarantee will be provided as such. And Ravi can.
As I'm a fresher, sir, I'm a fresher. So
Yeah, as I said, we can obviously look for opportunities, and I will come through that there are some hirings going on. Probably we can direct you there, and then we can
Okay.
prepare you for this thing. We'll probably try to do assessments as well. We'll do mock interviews for you guys, which will help
Okay.
you.
Is this online course or offline course, sir?
This is an online course.
Okay. Around 7 to 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, something like that, or probably close to 10 weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Sir, in this course, will we cover all the security like IoT securities, cloud security, network
No.
security, and system security?
So we will try to what we'll try to cover is what are we trying to cover is the basics of cybersecurity.
Mhm.
What does SOC do? What's the operations of SOC? What are the roles and responsibilities of SOC? How
Mhm.
do they use the tools called Splunk? And what is an antivirus solution? How does it appear? How do you can configure semantic endpoint manager as an example? But not the entire cloud security as well. That's a very big topic which we can't cover in just 10 weeks, right?
Okay,
Um,
okay.
yeah, this is purely to understand what SOC should monitor from the
Mhm.
very level, right? It's for you guys to understand what SOC does. Help you understand the tools and the operations, day-to-day activities, what SOC should focus about, what type of alerts you should monitor, what type of systems you should monitor, and that's how we'll try to provide you an assistance.
Okay, okay, sir. So, sir, if I wanted to go deep in this field, so, sir, what things I have to do?
So, what do you mean by deep? Like, you want to go
Sir,
into.
sir means as you heard that various security agencies like Raw IB, they are also hiring various cyber experts. Sir, for that thing, I have various
So,
doubt that how can
yeah.
I enter this
So,
field?
yeah, for that, I think first you need to understand the basics of cybersecurity, right?
Okay, okay.
So,
So,
I would
what
say
is the basic knowledge should I need to learn cybersecurity?
you need to have good skills. As I said, the networking knowledge, how the network is set up, what's a switch, what is a router, understand how they work in a network. Once you have an understanding of all these things, then you need to try to understand how an attacker can do it. Use Kali Linux and understand, how each tool can be used to gather information, break into the organization. What exploits can be used, what is exploit, what is the vulnerability, how vulnerability can be identified. So you need to know all these things, right? Web
Okay.
application, what you need to know. You need to understand how the Windows operating system really works. You need to know how Linux actually works. Understand what are the commands in Windows and Linux which you can use to do the basic enumeration in your own systems. So all these things, like, first you need to understand what's the basics of it, right? So as I
Okay.
said, understand how the network is set up, what are the components of networks, how each interconnects with each other. If I need to really understand if a server is compromised, what am I supposed to look like? What a compromised server will look like? So that's how you need to start building your knowledge about it.
Okay. But I don't know much about the networking system. So is there any other package to learn the basic knowledge of cybersecurity?
Yeah, there are a lot of probably online videos are there. I'll try to share you all those videos
Okay,
and
sir.
presentations as well. And then there is a lot of online demos which you can use to
Okay.
understand how each of these network components really work.
Is the cybersecurity the scope for freshers?
Yes, yes,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah. Uh, and I think Ayush, were you asked more questions? You said
Yes,
about.
sir.
Yeah, you were okay. So for whatever you are trying to your goal, so
Mhm.
first you need to start understanding the basics of cybersecurity.
Okay, okay.
and how the attack is, how
Mhm.
each component really works.
Mhm.
When you say a web application, how a website even works, everything has to be from scratch. The understanding of how HTTP protocol works, HTTPS works. What?
Secure network, that is.
Yeah. HTTPS is nothing but the protocol which loads up the secure website and everything else. So we need to understand why and what of all these things,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So for that, the basic which we'll talk here are some of the things which will help you out, and then alongside you should be able to do your CH or Security Plus certifications.
Okay,
So
okay.
you guys start reading the Security Plus books, which is freely available online, which you can download and read, which will help you answer a lot of questions, and then we as a forum can discuss a lot of questions and doubts you have.
Okay, sir. Sir, one thing that I wanted to ask, sir, is programming knowledge is required because, sir, in reverse engineering, we are dealing with.
No,
Uh,
I think reverse engineering is a whole different topic, right? It's way
okay,
too
cool.
it's way too advanced. You'll not be doing right now. Oh, but yeah,
Okay.
you have the programming knowledge, or at least the basis of logical reasoning.
Mhm.
Yes, you can do it. I'll tell you what, I've been in this career for last 15 years. I don't have programming knowledge, right? Yeah,
Okay.
I want to learn Python, but if there's a script which comes across to me, I'll probably make try to understand what each component talks about, and then and there try to dissect it and take advantage of it. That doesn't mean that you need to mandatorily have the cybersecurity or scripting knowledge. It's good to have, it's not mandatory. But if you have it, you can use it for your own advantage, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so you can use it for your own advantage. Again, that's a skill which people will look for, or as if you say that, Kishore, you as a hiring guy, you as a director for a company or director for SOC, would you look for that? Oh, I said 110% I would look for, right? I would even pay a lakh more to get a guy who has got cybersecurity and scripting knowledge, because that serves multiple purpose for automation in the SOC as well. But again, I would say that's not mandatory. That's
Okay,
something
sir.
you should learn it, but yeah, it's not mandatory. Which you cannot say that if you don't know scripting, you'll probably not getting hired. That's not right.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, fine.
Yeah,
I'm done with my questions.
perfect. Zakaria, you have questions as well. I have not seen. So Apurva asked that, yes, firewall, VPN is not. VPN is very minute concept of how do you connect, but firewall, yeah, we'll try to cover that topic as well. So Ashish, I see your hand raised. Yogesh, you have raised your hand. Any questions from you guys?
Hi, sir. How can I learn practically, sir? How?
Practically, you can install Kali on your machine. If you have a decent enough system with a decent enough configuration, you can install a VM. I'll help you out that. I'll give you links.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I am already done with VMware Workstation Kali Linux.
Okay, so yeah, that's how you can start practicing it. You need to have a Windows 7 or any other operating system image installed on another VM. Try to have these both VMs in the same loop, and then try to enumerate that machine by scanning them using Nmap, initial scan, or have a password rip or Jack the Ripper or any other tool which you can use it. So there are
Okay.
other tools which is called Metasploitable. Um, um, yeah, I think a broken web application which can be used to host another vulnerable web application, and then using Kali Linux to target these applications.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, we'll try to see. We'll work together to see if you have your questions. But when you're talking about all those things, they are little advanced. Probably not right now. But yeah, we will see what SOC does, and we'll try to see what Kali can be used for.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Apurv, you can talk to Ravi regarding the structure and all that, the fee structure. So he'll be able to help you out. Ashish, you had a question, or you have a question? I have 8 GB, but I think my machine, I think you need something like 8 GB or more to even have the system running smoothly. If you have SSD and 8 GB plus RAM, it will work well. But again, it's not mandatory. But yeah, it will run slow. But you need to have 8 GB and a decent type of hard, fast spinning hard drive to have Kali running, pretty decent. Yeah, 8 GB works well. If you got 16 GB, then I think it's an icing on the cake. But yeah, 8 GB will work. Go ahead, Ashish. I think you have raised your hand, but you have not asked your question. Zakaria, if you can hear us, can you please ask your question if you have anything in the chat group?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah, I was asking that I had done basic diploma of cyber law. Hello.
Yep. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, sir. I'm talking Ashish. Sir,
Yep.
you are hearing. You can hear.
I
Can
can
you
hear
hear?
you. I can hear you. Hello?
Yeah, sir, I have investigation from Asian Schools of Cyber Law. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah.
But I had some problem about practical knowledge. I am not getting practically. Not I am getting sufficient knowledge.
Okay, we will try to help you out here.
So what can I do for it?
Yeah, practically we'll try to help you out.
Yeah,
I'll try to find out.
practically.
Yeah, I'll try to help you out with that as well. If you got a laptop and you can install
Yeah.
VMware or Oracle VirtualBox, then from there we can help you out with.
VMware or yeah, VMware.
We can help you out.
Hello.
I talk. Hello, can you hear us?
Hello. Hello. I can hear.
Yeah. So I'll help you out, Ashish, in that. We'll try to gain as much practical knowledge
Yeah.
as possible. So this will be not a hacking class. Remember, guys, this is not a hacking class. We will not be looking at hacking
Yeah.
tools, but per se we'll be looking at
Yeah.
what SOC does and what it should do in
What?
terms of identifying an attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Socks. In socks. Yes. Yes. Secret.
Yeah. So this is not for us to understand how to attack. We will not be attacking anyone. We will not be doing scans, but I'll show you some of the demos and applications which you can do. But we will not be attacking. It's purely a defensive class, which is not a.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I think let's. What I'll do, guys,
Thank
I
you.
think we'll take a break right now, and
Yeah. Yeah.
3:18 right now, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes at 3:30
Okay,
something.
sir.
Okay.
About 3:30. Okay, sir. Okay.
3:30.
Okay, Kishore.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Ravi, is that fine? Okay. So, guys, I'm muting all. Uh, so Yogesh, if you can raise your hand, fine. Zakaria, if still are not able to, or you're not asking, please ask in the chat. You can look at this and then answer. Yeah, Aditya.
No, 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 nothing, Kishore, nothing. I mean, do we need to be online? Or do we
Sorry?
need to be online or do we need to leave the meeting?
Please be online. I'll mute you all. We can come back and rejoin in the next 10 minutes.
Okay, sure, sure.
Yeah, Zakaria, I can see you. You have any questions?
Kishore, let's take the break. I'll ask Zakaria to to type in his question.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys there?
Yes, Kishore.
Perfect. Thank you, Aditya. So, guys, if everybody's aware, if everybody's available, well and good. You can post your. Okay, I have got a chat. Aish is available. Aditya is available. Apurv, Ashish, Avesh, Pratap, Yukesh.
ఇట్లా వస్తాడు రాయబుద్ధి కాదు.
Okay, so I'll give everybody else another 5 minutes. It's 3:33. We'll preferably start. I think I'm trying to wrap up the session by suppose 4 or like 4:10, something like that, and then we can sit tomorrow again. Right. So everybody else, if you are there, raise your hands, then so that I know you are here, and then we can move forward. So Yogesh, perfect. Perfect. Pratap, I think I'm not seeing your hand raised. Perfect. I got everyone. Awesome. Awesome. You guys can lower your hands and then we'll move forward. So let's talk about, I actually want to talk about another topic, but I think I'll go with this. And then if we have time, we'll probably talk about it tomorrow. So the networking concept. So I'm sure everybody has gone through this. Everybody has seen this in your engineering, in your degree. You have come across this, right? So we'll make it short. We'll make it crisp. If you have any questions, stop and ask. So computer network, right? Basic question. What does it do? So it basically allows everything to get interconnected, right? You basically connect among each other, the employees, the systems, everything else like documents, email, messages, website, blah, 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 everything. Everything is interconnected. But how is it connected is what the question is. But what do you call everything connected to each other? It's called a computer network or a basic network, right? So how do you think when a network is set up, how do you think it's talking to each other? How do you know whether my computer, my machine can talk to your machine and then do the data transfer? How? That happens something called as topologies. How do I know I need to contact you to get this information? Is where the topology will come into the picture. Its topology is an arrangement where it's a way the machines are designed to set up, and the information will flow from one machine to other machine, and then they'll be connected to each other or to the primary network, whatever that is. So we'll look at the different categories of topologies. So we have got the first mesh. Then we have got the star, the bus, and the ring. I know you might be thinking that, I have heard this, I have known this, absolutely brilliant, but we'll go through this again. So what does this, what does star topology do? So I think should be talking about the burst topology first, right? So the burst topology is nothing but you have the primary network cable which runs through, and then every other workstation will try to tap onto that line and then connect it as if there is a bus. It's the bus is nothing but you see a bus, it runs through one single line, right? It doesn't go through its own vision will. So if there is a road, it will go on that road only, like on the main part of it, and then whoever wants to connect and get on the bus will need to have a line or a bylane to that bus stop or to that road where they can come back, connect to it, right? So imagine if there is a road, and then like this is me, this is Aditya, and this is Ravi, correct? And if the bus is going through this way, the bus will start here, he will come in, he will take up, it will go, and then he'll reach the end. But if the road gets broken here, right, or the cable gets broken here, or the communication stops here, rest of the other stations will never be able to receive the communication, right? The bus topology, as per what's written in here, all devices share a single communication line. It means they have one single cable where they will be using it as a backbone to connect to the network. Nodes are connected to the bus cable by drop lines, which is called taps, or drop lines and taps. So they connect to this tap, and then they get the networking to them. And whenever they want to communicate, they use this channel to do it. But the problem is, if there is too much traffic on this one cable, like too many people, like, all these other machines are trying to communicate, there is a possibility that the data packets or the network packets will be getting dropped, or will crash and then will drop. Or these packets or these stations will have to wait for their turn to even send their communication out to the other machine, or to the other network, or to the other person in another network. So that's the limitation, that there is only one channel to go in and come out, where if there is another bus standing already in there, you cannot have another bus come in. The one bus has to go off, or one user has to send out his communication, or his package has to go. Till then, the other person will wait for his communication or wait for his turn. When that turn comes, he'll do it. If there is any other occur, he'll have to redo his whole communication. So it's a very basic and non-productive way of sending out communication. Okay. So let's look at advantages and disadvantages. Advantages: ease of installation, bus uses less cabling. But disadvantages: difficult to connect and fault isolation, difficult to add new devices. So what happens is, you might say that, why it's difficult to add a new device. So as a philosophy, as a tradition, or as the architect itself, every network cable will be able to support a length of, a network cable of length, example 5 meters, can only support these many devices. The more number of devices it adds, that less, or the bandwidth reduces for every other system or host which is joined that particular bus, correct? So thereby, it's not that an accurate system, or that's not an easy system to implement, but it's very difficult to even do a fault toleration, or even say that everybody gets consistent speed. Because if you need to find out where the actual communication broke, you'll have to come check every other machine is connected on the bus topology or the bus line, and then figure out where the communication is or where the fault is. So bus topology was the very first one to actually get implemented, right? Then we look at ring topology. Each host connects to exactly 2 other machines, creating a circular network. So this machine, as you see in the diagram here, connects to other machine, which is connected to a repeater. So repeater is nothing but it repeats the same signal, so that signal gets boosted, and then it goes to the other station or other repeater. It's more or like that big microphones or big speakers which we place it while the Ganesh festival is going on. The actual set-top box or actual audio, the tape recorder is in some corner, but you'll have so many speakers with so many repeaters around that even half a kilometer down the lane, you'll still get the audio signal that loud and clear, which will be like playing whatever the song it is. It means the repeaters is nothing but it repeats the signal so that the other person or other station in the ring can actually get the communication. So the signal is passed along the ring in one direction from the device to device. It will do a clockwise or an anti-clockwise. It can, if this machine wants to communicate to the station who's on the right hand side, he will have to send the communication to the left hand side station. It will go all around the ring and then come back and talk to the station which is on the left hand side. He cannot just reverse the direction of the flow and send it to this guy, and that's the disadvantage. So ring is relatively easy to install and reconfigure. Ring is better at handling load. Central server is not required to manage this topology. That's an advantage. It's easy for us to understand why, because we don't need any centralized servers to send out the communication, but we need each other to understand and forward the communication. Disadvantage: data sent from one node another has to pass through all the intermediary nodes to pass on to to reach the end node. As I said, if I want to send out somebody communication to my right hand one node, I have to send it out to left hand so that it can pass on to everybody else and then reach out to the guy which is next right to me. The transmission speed drops and the number with an increase in the number of nodes. That's obvious. That's obvious. The more you add nodes in between, the more repeaters you get. That the transmission speed decreases because every system will work in their own frequency and will have to the repeaters will work on own frequency range and the throughput range. So thereby the drops might be erratic and you'll have to have a decrease in your transmission speeds. So if a single failure of node in this can cause entire network to fail, that's obvious. So if I'm trying to send communication to my left-hand person to reach the communication to somebody else who's like 3 or 4 hops down the line, if my left-hand guy fails, nothing works, because even though everybody else is working, the ring means every communication has to pass through this one failed node to even reach the other nodes. It means if one fails, the entire network goes down, right? And that's again, not an appropriate way for us to set up our network. Moving on, the mesh topology. Mesh is every other device is connected to every other device, right? It can be I've got 5 machines in my network. Every machine is connected to each other. Every machine like a point-to-point connection. They know what the IP is, how they communicate, and everything else. The term dedicated means that link carriers traffic only between 2 devices to connect. Yeah, so it can only connect between the term dedicated means that the link carries traffic only between 2 devices it connects. So this either connection or this connection or this connection or this connection. So it has dedicated connection among only 2 at a time. So look at the advantage. It can handle heavy traffic as there are dedicated paths between any 2 network nodes. That's how we see that's a defined network path for connection between the host. Failure of single node doesn't affect the entire network to fail as the other alternate paths of the data transmission there. So I can still reach out to the other machine even though my network path, dedicated network path, fails between the other machine. Right? So that's how the advantages. It's clearly visible. The disadvantages. Disadvantages is a lot of cabling. I need to lay a lot of cabling to even connect everything, and they need to be in the close proximity of each other. Because since I need to connect each other machine, I need to route, I need to dedicate the routing tables, I need to write the routing tables, I need to ensure the routing tables up and running, I need to ensure that the paths are accurate, I need to know the IP addresses are not changing. It means there's a lot of cost incurred to just set up and maintain the mesh network. the administration of mesh network is difficult because you need to keep maintaining and updating the routes and then ensuring that one machine is connected to the other machine, which is almost all the time, right? So this is expensive. Then we have something called as the star topology. So the star topology is nothing but you have a hub, and then everybody else is connected to a hub, right? Earlier it was a hub, probably it can be a router now or a switch now. So the hub is nothing but it receives every communication, it directly broadcasts every communication to every other person. So the star topology, each device has a dedicated point of control, which is the hub, which is contact this person. Hey, I need to talk to this station B. How do I do it? So it says, okay, it takes the communication from station A. It says, who is station B here? It will send out a broadcast message to even station C, station D, station E as well. So everybody else in the same network will receive the communication, and then the station B will respond that, hey, you know what? I am station B. Please send the communication to me. And then the communication gets set up, right? So that's how the star is. The disadvantages of star topology is less expensive, easy to install and configure. It's robust. The one big disadvantage of star topology, dependency of of the whole topology, a single point or a hub. If the hub fails, the entire network fails, right? So it means we need to make sure that the hub is running all the time, every time, so that we are able to talk to other host in my own network. So it can be like your Wi-Fi router, right? If Wi-Fi router is more or less like your hub, like not a hub but looks like a hub. You connect to your hub, and hub takes you to the internet, or your router takes you to the internet. But it's a router which is much more advanced and then much more intelligent, correct? So, but if your router fails, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Your phone will switch to 4G and still continue to communicate. But if you don't have 4G, you're not connected. That's how it's like, in a rough sense, that's how it is. Let's look at hybrid. So hybrid is nothing but it's combination of two different type of topologies, right? For example, if an office in one department is a ring topology is used, another star topology can be used. Connecting these two topologies will be called a hybrid, right? So I am seeing here in the image, I have got a bus and I've got a hub. So it means the bus topology is connected to a hub topology, and these two topologies are, when these two connect each other, it's called a hybrid network, right? Okay, so that's fine. Then what happens is you have something called as a layered communication. Why do I call layer? Because when you send communication from your machine, or you're trying to contact the other machines in the other network, your information passes through different layers, like how we are trying to portray how we are trying to portray here in this example where for somebody sending out a post message, right? So the sender writes a letter, puts it in an envelope, drops in a mailbox. That's a very high level. Imagine you are trying to write an email. What do? You open your Gmail, you say xyz.com, you type subject, you will put a CVRT, you will attach your documents, and then you send it. That's a UI you will face it. That's a very high layer. You're not worried about how it works in the backend, correct? Then what happens? The letter is actually carried out from the mailbox to the post office. So it means when you send your mailbox, from your mailbox, it goes to the Gmail server, your Gmail server, which actually handles all these emails and says that, okay, what do I need to do? Okay, when the moment the letter comes to the post box, what does the post box do or the post office do? It identifies what's the source address and what's the destination address. Okay, this particular address is in Assam, Meghalaya, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, whatever that is. So, and how do I identify which city or Pune or Hyderabad? It looks at the pin code, correct? It looks at the pin code. So it says, okay, I need to send this particular letter to a person in Hyderabad, in particular Hyderabad, in high-tech city, to a person called XYZ, right? That's how it's done. The lane, everything is done. The landmark is done. Now the letter is delivered to the carrier by the post office. So what it does, it identifies and sends it to the correct route. Like, okay, you need to go to this particular route, which will take you to that particular mail server. In this example, it will say that, okay, you need to go to Hyderabad. So you need to take this particular bus, this particular faster route or a flight, where this letter will end up at Hyderabad. So when the letter, so that's a route, that's actual, the pink line is nothing but the actual route which you're using to send the carrier, is the carrier. So now the parcel services or the flight or the post office will take this and put it in the bus, sends it, it takes the road, understanding that, I have to go to Hyderabad, it will come in and ends up at the receiving post office, right? The Hyderabad's primary post office, which is the GPO, General Post Office. It receives it, central hub. It says, okay, I have received the letter in Hyderabad. Now what am I supposed to do? Where do I send this letter? It looks at the pin code and looks at the area. Okay, I need to send to this pin code. So there is a box which says every letter to this pin code will have to put it in this. Same way, the letter will carry it, saying that, okay, for all these letters for this pin code, you as Kishore will carry out these letters and give it back. And it needs to go to that post office. It doesn't reach the user directly, but will reach the post office or the post box directly. So what happens? There is a truck which comes and says that, okay, I'm going in this route. I'll drop and go to each post office on that route and drop the letters. So it goes to High Tech City. From High Tech City, it says that, I'm going to, from Secunderabad, I'm going to Paradise, Begumpet, Panjagutta. I'll drop every other, go to every other post office, drop the files and reach High Tech City and drop the letter at the High Tech City post office. Then what happens? The guy actually picks up the letter and travels to your area and then delivers the letter to you. Thereby, in a nutshell, you have seen that what happened there, how many people got involved. It means there is a route. The person who actually carries the letter from point A to point B, then from from your mailbox to the local post office, from the local post office to central post office, from central post office to a bus which takes you to the other destination, and from there on it does the reverse of it, what happens in the initial path. Similarly, when you send out a communication, you're like, if you're typing google.com, exact same thing happens, but which is called as OSI layer. The OSI layer is nothing but a mechanism, a protocol, a framework where your communication is broken into multiple sections, where each layer will handle different components of your data. And as it progresses through different layers, the data will get added. It will go through the internet cable, reach the destination, and it will go the reverse direction of unfolding or breaking apart and actually showing you the data. Ashish, you have a question?
No, sir.
Ashish, you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay, can you mute, please? Yeah, thank you. So that's how it happens. So let's look at the layers. So we have got 7 layers in the entire OSI, platform as such. So first is the application layer, or first is the physical layer. Physical is nothing but you see a network cable, you see a Wi-Fi, that's all physical. Then you have got a data link layer, network, transport, session, presentation, application layer. So these layers are nothing but the compare this as to example of a postman, right? So application layer, in a very nutshell, application layer is what you're looking at the current, how do I say, the Zoom meeting right now. This is an application layer. Then the presentation layer in the backend will help you present the data to the application layer. The session layer is nothing but which is what is maintaining the communication between you and me, so that I talk and you can listen and see the presentation in real time, right? Transportation is nothing but keeping the connection alive. How do I keep it? How do I provide session, transportation guarantee that, do I use TCP, session oriented, non-session oriented, all this TC transport is what it looks like. The network is nothing but how faster can I route the packets from one point A to point B so that all this happens in real time. And the data link layer is nothing but all the communication which is going from your machine before it reaches the router or your physical medium. The data link layer will take care of it. And the physical switches, optic fiber, network cable, router switches, all the things are called physical, which is the actual medium where the data gets transmitted back and forth. Even though your satellites will also come into the physical. You might say that, hey, you know what? At the end of the thing, how my communication is going from one place to point A to point B, US to America or US to India. Probably, yeah, it's via going a satellite link or by going through an undersea cable, which is spread across, continents to continents. Again, that's also physical, right? So your OSI model was the very first framework which allowed everyone to understand and work around how do I create and how do I make sophisticated networks and make faster network communication. Correct? Okay, I'll stop here and I'll take questions if you have any. Right? Okay, I don't have any. Nobody has a questions. So, okay, I've got a chat. What is that? Yes, Pratap, I would explain details. Already 4 o'clock. I'm trying to wrap up. I will try to show some websites to you guys. Okay, and then probably you advantage of that. But I think the, we will take. I'll show you the next. Okay, I think I'm getting a lot of echo. I'll show you the next decks and then explain more about each layer in the upcoming or tomorrow sessions. Perfect. Thanks, Pratap. Guys, any questions so far? Don't hesitate. Again, I'm saying don't hesitate. Don't think that it's the question you're asking might be stupid or might be, oh, I don't know this. There are something which I also don't know. I'll try to learn and teach you, but you need to tell me if you have any doubt. If I can't answer you right now, I'll go find out and let you know more in detail. But don't keep your questions. Or, your questions might be helpful for others as well. Think in that way.
Hi Kishore, Aditya this side. I think you have missed out that cyber keychain module, which is in the first concept.
Yeah. So see, the reason I did not, I knew probably that question would come. See, the cyber kill chain is a little more advanced. So if I talk about reconnaissance, if I talk about weaponization, I think people who are not having that background will not understand. So that's something a little advanced. So if I don't tell them what network is, if I don't tell them all these topics and I start jumping in cyber kill chain, that's something that creates a lot of confusion and a lot of questions. So yes, the cyber kill chain will get covered by tomorrow, I think. All the decks of the OSI layers. Yes, I have got it prepared. I'll probably show it to you guys tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Actually, I'm eagerly waiting for that cyber kill chain. What is it? So it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No problems. I understand. Yeah. Thank you for being eager.
Sure.
Yeah. So if we don't have any more, okay, Ayush, sir, cyber forensics career. See, I'll tell you what, Ayush, the cyber forensic career is not something you can take it off right off, but you need to do a lot of groundwork. At least there is 1 year worth of groundwork before you even say that you are ready for a cybersecurity career, right? So as I said, you need to go through you need to do some certification, which is CEH or Security Plus. You need to read that books. You need to start doing little hands-on. The hands-on, I will try to help you out in understanding what type of hands-on you can do, and then from there on, I'll try to kind of help you out. How do you build your career in that, right? So there is. I'll try to also show you what is the first 5-year career plan for a cybersecurity guy. Correct? I'll also show you that. I'll probably guide you that probably end of tomorrow or from the next week session. I'll try to give you that deck as well. What in the first 5 years of your career, what you're supposed to do as part of the cybersecurity career. What is that you want to do, right? Every year. So I'll tell you guys, this is me very frank. I'm not talking about like a Kishore who has got 15 years of experience, but I myself has taken upon that 2019, 2020, 2021. The next 3 years are years for me, which I call as a brutal learning. So anything which you get your hands on in terms of learning articles, don't hesitate. Just read it. Even if you don't understand, read it. It's always to read. The more you read, the more questions you will get. The more questions you will get, the more you'll try to answer those questions by yourself or by asking in a forum like this. Right? You can always reach out to me. I'll try to help you out. But you have to be 200% dedicated to learning this and saying that even if you say nobody will ever have everything under their belt, everything will not come back. And as Ayush said, or as others said, don't have. Ashish said, I don't have background in network, or Yogesh said, that's fine. But I am trying to show you the starting point of how do you gather information, how do you read about this one, and how do you start exploring more and expanding your knowledge base. So start making notes, understanding what you have read, ask questions, poke a lot of questions to me, poke a lot of questions to others as well. And then that's how we all will learn. That's all we'll understand where we are lacking and how will we want to improve on. Right? Other person's questions are advantages for everybody else here. There is no books. Yes, I will give you books. I will send you those PDF directly. What I'll try to do is I'll not send you books individually, but I'll try to create a Google Drive link where I'll try to drop all those books there. I have got tons and tons of books, 90 GB worth of material which you can actually read, but I don't want to give it right away because it will confuse you. So we'll go phase by phase and give you career by career or phase by phase learnings so that you can read and start exploring more on that. I'll give you links as well, which you can use it as a good reading. So the first things which I want you to do is everybody download this app called Player FM, which is on Android Play Store. Once you go in this Android Play Store, register to something called as SANS Internet Storm Center. I'm talking about podcast, which you all, I'll type, I think, SANS Internet Storm Center. So that's how you have to, once you type it, center, okay. Here. Okay. SANS Internet Storm Center. Player FM is the app. SANS Internet Storm is there. And then there is something called as Darknet Diaries. So that's another thing which you can actually search for and subscribe. So then these two guys, the Internet Storm Center is almost every day they have podcasts getting released. You can just listen to them. Don't do anything. Just listen. You come across a lot of attacks, a lot of this vulnerabilities, a lot of exploits, a lot of 0 days. Just go Google them. That's how you start learning and start reading about stuff, right? And then these guys, for every show, you'll have show notes, which you can follow the link for, right? Cool. So I think, yeah, so I wanted to show a couple of websites to you guys. So the first is the world's biggest, the information is beautiful site, which you can use to gather a lot of breach information, like who got breached and who are those, how did it happen, and everything else. So you can click on data, and then you can actually see a lot of data here. I think you can just search for, yeah, see here, world's biggest breaches. You will download an Excel file which will have all the breaches. Yeah. Yeah, so this is, if everybody can see, this is how the Excel will look like, what these guys have gathered. So this itself is good information for you, I think. Yeah. So what's the year? Yeah. Okay, let me type. Yeah, you see Aadhaar here. So Aadhaar. So this guy says the personal information of billion Indians stored in the world's biggest largest biometric database was bought online by less than £6, according to the investigation by the Indian newspaper. The reporter who broke the story named as criminal complaint, blah blah, and then I think this is not showing up properly. Yeah, okay. So this is in 2017. How many records got breached? These many. Government accidentally published. Number of records stolen, and then a lot of fields which is hidden, and then this is the site which is actually the register which actually did it, Guardian, which covered the actual story, right? So you can use this information to understand what companies got breached. I can go this, the Guardian 2018. So you'll see a lot of information. We will say, what is the same personal data of billions of Indians sold on online for £6, as reporter claims. So this actual hack was done by somebody called Elliot Anderson on Twitter. Start following up him on Twitter. He's called F Society. I follow him a lot. I read almost all the diaries which he posts. So that's something which you guys should do it. That's something which you'll learn about a lot of things. Okay, and yeah. So there's a lot of tools which website I'll give you. Yeah, one other thing, I think checkusernames.com is something. So I gave my email ID here, I should not be giving. You can give your email IDs and say that, on which of the social sources your email ID is available. It's called checkusernames.com. Put there, you'll see all where you are available. Like I am available on YouTube, Wikipedia, eBay, Dailymotion, Armchair GM. I don't know what this site is all about. GitHub, everything else. So some of the information where you find about yourself. This is other website called Have I Been Pawned? It means whether your email address has ever been compromised or anywhere else your email address has been given, that site is compromised. You can put your email address and then check whether that email address has been compromised. Have I been pawned and check usernames are the two things which you should explore right now, and the information is beautiful. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, I think we'll wrap it up here, Ravi. And then I'll probably see you tomorrow.
Great.
Ravi,
You able to hear me, Kishore?
Oh, your voice is very low.
Very low. Is it better now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thanks again, Kishore. I think very insightful session. Guys, there is a class tomorrow. The second class will be tomorrow. Those who are interested, you have my number. Please reach out to me. Right, most likely we'll announce the hour, whether it be 2 to 4 or 3 to 5. I'll speak with Kishore and come back with the exact time. But for registration, please reach out to me directly. So thanks a lot for attending this session, all of you. And special thanks to Kishore. Thank you, guys. Let's conclude now.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Kishore.